just use the Windrunner oath to justify a Zutara ship in the live action?
Hey, look, I made a bridge. It only took me like, what, 10 seconds?
Hey, you geeks! Bit of a lighter video this week as I settle in at my new job. We are sorting Team Avatar from Avatar: The Last Airbender original series into their respective Knight Radiant Orders from Brandon Sanderson's The Stormlight Archive. The Knight Radiant Orders are sort of like the Hogwarts houses of Harry Potter, except for instead of being focused around single generic adjectives, the orders are based on what a person finds morally important and sets as a goal, as well as how that person achieves that goal. For example, the Lightweavers, who are known for attracting artistic types, have that dramatic flair that we associate with theater kids. But their order stresses that they use those dramatic lies to tell ultimate truths.
We pretended. We lied.
So yes, Mrs. Nesbit from Galaxy Quest is definitely a Lightweaver in my estimation.
Don't you get it? You see the hat? I am Mrs. Nesbit.
Because the Radiant Orders are crafted to meld so well with classic character archetypes like those we find in Avatar: The Last Airbender, it is very easy to sort the gang into these types, as well as using their order in the original to see if that is carried over accurately into the live action. If you haven't read the Stormlight Archive yet, this video will not contain overt plot spoilers, and you should probably read that after watching this video. So strap on in. Aang. In a move that will surprise no one who's read the books, I am putting Aang as a bondsmith.
You are the great bridge between man and spirits.
Right, that's me. Hey, great bridge guy.
As Brandon Sanderson's latest video series, Say the Words, has explained, bondsmiths unite things, mostly people, but also governments and kingdoms and armies and everything else. They negotiate treaties and resolve disputes and help people to see each other as people instead of rivals or foreigners or enemies. We see Aang do this a lot in Avatar: The Last Airbender, in the profound way he reaches out to Zuko even in season 1.
And he was from the Fire Nation, just like you. If we knew each other back then, do you think we could have been friends too?
To, yes, the ridiculous way he settled the dispute in The Great Divide. See, that episode wasn't completely useless. It was just Aang working towards his ideal of unity, a goal that he really spends the entire series doing, uniting the Water Tribes, Earth Kingdom, and even bringing in the Fire Nation to the fold by befriending Fire Nation civilians and Zuko himself.
I can't believe a year ago my purpose in life was hunting you down. And now we're friends.
That friendship, that bond that Aang forged, is what ultimately brings peace to the world. Incidentally, Aang's avatar power, his ability to be the unique bridge between the spiritual realm and the physical realm of Avatar: The Last Airbender, pairs nicely with the bondsmith's unique ability to unite the spiritual, cognitive, and physical realms that we see in the Stormlight Archive. Though it's not just Aang's ability to do this and create the giant light beam that we all know epic fantasies must include, it is his willingness to do this.
The only way is to let her go.
I'm sorry, Katara.
Radiant Orders aren't about what powers a person has, rather they start with a person's goals and work ethic. From there, they are given the powers. As for live action Aang, Netflix did cut The Great Divide, which is just such a tragedy.
Let's keep flying.
but still kept in the themes of Aang wanting to unite a divided world, though the show focused more on the world's division at this point.
But where I'm from, people help each other. If I can learn to be the Avatar, maybe I could bring the place I knew.
This thread, like so many others in the series, wasn't totally teased out as it was in the original, but it was present, so that's nice. Katara. She's a little harder to pin down. It's a good thing that we're looking to her character motivations and not her power set, because Brandon Sanderson grew up in the Great Plains and then moved to the desert mountains. So he doesn't really understand water or use it in his magic system. Fortunately, he does rely a lot on hope and characters wanting to help others, which is what Katara is all about. But Katara seeks to help others in a very specific way, a way that she actually overtly swears an ideal of a radiant order in the third season.
No! I will never, ever turn my back on people who need me.
That's pretty much the second ideal of the Stone Wards, the stalwart, dependable knights that Katara would gladly be. She is the problem solver of Team Avatar, from fixing Sokka's pants to finding ways of teaching Aang waterbending when her knowledge runs out.
You stole their waterbending scroll!
I prefer to think of it as high-risk trading.
Although we haven't seen many Stone Wards in text yet, their order, according to the Say the Words videos, are known for when there's a problem and everyone wonders what to do, you realize that the Stone Wards are already there, quietly and efficiently, just doing it. They work together. They work hard. They don't bend or compromise when things get difficult.
Well, what are you doing?
I'm making my own water.
It's interesting that the Stone Lords are generally thought of being the Earthbender equivalent in Avatar: The Last Airbender. However, I think this is mostly due to Brandon's lack of familiarity with water, because what gives them the power to melt and bend stone isn't anything earthly per se, it is merely cohesion that Brandon describes as being. Cohesion is the grab something solid and melt it and push it in any direction you want. It's the weak atomic force. And that definition involves pushing liquids. Someone should really ask Brandon Sanderson if waterbending could also be done through cohesion, or possibly any of the bendings. Anywho, when it comes to looking at Katara in the live action, she basically swears the Windrunner's second ideal in the first episode.
She said that we have to protect those who can protect themselves.
This is somewhat forgivable, as Stone Lords and Windrunners are known for being pretty compatible. They're both the soldier types, and there's a famous character in the Stormlight Archive that we all assumed would be a Stone Lord, despite him being surrounded by Windrunners. The show actually did a good job in changing Katara's origin story to being her failed to protect someone who could not protect themselves in a very Windrunner appropriate backstory. However, the show's problem is the follow-through. She wasn't exactly protecting Aang when he could not protect himself because he was on a spirit quest. She was just fighting Zuko because she wanted to be a warrior. Okay. Sokka. Here, this might be a bit contentious, as some fans of both series may view Sokka as the designated non-bender of Avatar to be the designated non-radiant of Stormlight Archive. He is there to show that even those without superpowers can save the world, which is an important message in magical epic fantasy. But Sokka really only dwells on this internally for like an episode.
Each of you is so amazing and so special, and I'm not. I'm just the guy in the group who's regular.
It's a great episode, but this isn't what Sokka's worrying about in every other episode. In every other episode, Sokka is trying to impart order on the well-meaning chaos brought about by Katara and Aang, and then later Toph. We see this in him early as the de facto 15-year-old leader of the Southern Water Tribe, making those rules and making sure those pesky kids stick to them.
Listen, until your fathers return from the war, they're counting on you to be the men of this tribe.
Not only is Sokka obsessed with order, he also cares deeply about justice and doing what is right, even if it means showing mercy to those he does not like.
Who would be free? Everyone would be dead. You traitor! No, Jet. You became the traitor when you stopped protecting innocent people.
This makes him, in my opinion, a skybreaker. Skybreakers are all about order. It's not about rules or laws or whatever the current or local king declares is right. It's about higher ideals of rightness and concepts like justice and fairness. Fans of both series may point to Sokka's love of experimentation and science and ingenuity as signs that he should be a dustbringer, known also for destroying then creating things. But this argument overlooks that we have one Stormlight character who, like Sokka, loves scientific experimentation and blowing things up in the name of science, but he is, in this book, a skybreaker. So that actually made my decision for me on what order to put Sokka in. In the live action, Sokka is shown as wanting to be a leader and a warrior, which are parts of the skybreaker ethic.
My role is to protect the village and be a warrior, just like Dad.
But since Katara has really downplayed her need to create chaos by doing good, we don't see a lot of Sokka fighting against it and trying to reinstate order and justice. Rather, that sort of falls to Aang, and rather clumsily. I do hope that they fix this part of the live action in the second season. Zuko. From the most contentious sort to the least, everyone knows that Zuko is obsessed with one thing.
My honor, my throne, my country. I'm about to lose them all.
And it's Zuko's inner struggle about his duty to his nation that defines honor as being a brutal warrior, and his duty to his own conscience that defines honor as being faithful and loyal to those who serve him, even if they cannot defend themselves.
You can't sacrifice an entire division like that. Those soldiers love and defend our nation. How can you betray them?
Even Zuko, when he's alone, having lost everything, we see the core of his character wanting to protect a town from bullies. And although they don't want his protection because he's Fire Nation, it's Zuko continuing to struggle with this to learn that how he can best defend people from Fire Nation bullies is by leaving the Fire Nation to go help Team Avatar.
The people of the world are terrified by the Fire Nation. They don't see our greatness. They hate us, and we deserve it.
So, yeah, obviously, Zuko's a windrunner at heart. Takes him a while to get there, but once he is, he's a true hero. Windrunners are the radiant order that protects the innocent, upholds the virtuous, and defends the defenseless. The live action actually captures this aspect of Zuko very well.
We are the 41st.
And you're all alive because of my nephew's sacrifice.
Despite the show's need to say 10 words when only one would do, and complete lack of subtlety, I really liked how they brought about this thread. And the more I think about it, we have Katara saying the words of the Windrunners, and Zuko living the words of the Windrunners, meaning that long term, there is some Zuko and Katara compatibility that I am just loving in the live action, possibly. Zutara is not dead so long as it lives in this girl's heart. Toph. I couldn't leave her out of this video, even though she hasn't appeared in the live action yet. Thankfully. Toph begins with some strong light weaver vibes as she is a pampered little rich girl whose overbearing father seeks to keep her encaged in a garden. But with Toph, honesty may not be her strongest suit, but she never lies to herself.
I don't care what I look like. I'm not looking for anyone's approval. I know who I am.
Rather, her character is all about seeking freedom, whether it be from social norms,
I learned proper society behavior and chose to leave it.
or to escape literal imprisonment as she does in the season 2 finale, inventing a whole new form of earthbending to boot.
It's another one of her tricks.
There's a giant hole in the box. How is that a trick?
It's not. It's the real deal.
So the Will Shaper Order, the order devoted to seeking freedom, really fits her well, as say the words explained. A Will Shaper believes that any law are a form of oppression. A Will Shaper will show you how to take care of yourself. A Will Shaper will focus on the at-home, day-to-day secrets that help you live the life you want to live. It's an interesting contrast that Team Avatar's Will Shaper Toph wants to break all the rules and struggles with setting healthy boundaries for her and her friends' safety.
Yeah, let's break some rules!
Whereas Brandon Sanderson's Will Shapers struggle with just wanting to surrender to the societal expectations of their community or even their self-acknowledged evil gods. This dichotomy may explain why Toph was one of the most beloved Avatar characters, while the Brandon Sanderson's Will Shapers are barely tolerated. Iroh. Last but certainly not least for YouTube, we have General Iroh. Uncle Iroh does give off a lot of the old retired general vibes as Dalinar, who, minor Stormlight spoiler, is a bondsmith. But Iroh's arc is not about learning how to become the honorable general again. Rather, his arc is about becoming the honorable civilian.
Who would have thought after all these years I'd return to the scene of my greatest military disgrace? As a tourist.
When we first meet him on Zuko's boat, he's already walked away willingly from becoming the Fire Lord and abandoned a life of luxury to be with his nephew in his hour of need. When everyone else in the family's forgotten about Zuzu, Iroh remembered.
It's only been a week since your banishment. You should take some time to heal and rest.
And tea. Let's not forget the tea that he will give to complete strangers in the middle of nowhere, along with good advice.
There is nothing wrong with letting people who love you help you. Not that I love you. I just met you.
No matter their station, so long as Iroh perceives that the person needs help, he will stop and try to help them as best he can. This makes Iroh the perfect edge dancer. They remember the poor, the sad, the lost, the forgotten, the kind of people who slip between the cracks, because no one else bothers to remember them at all. In the Stormlight archive, everyone's favorite edge dancer is always there to lift up the radiant spirits in their darkest hour, just as Iroh will do. And they also provide a generous source of food and beverage-related humor. The live action gets this part pretty spot on.
Everything I need is on this boat. Like I said, all the tea I need.
Live action Iroh is there for Zuko in his hour of need, and he even tries to comfort the Avatar when it's clear that this little kid is in way over his head. Although he does play peacemaker between his nephew and the crew, we see more of his relationship with Zuko than with the crew. I, for one, miss Uncle Iroh's Sungi horn playing.
You missed music night. Lieutenant G sang a stirring love song.
If you want to know what order I think Princess Azula belongs to, head on over to my Patreon. I greatly appreciate your support there, here, anywhere. Also, if you think I got one of these orders wrong, let me know down in the comments. See you next week. Thanks for watching. Bye!